Hey everyone, it's your favorite Michigan girl, wannabe Jedi, pop culture nerd, and Disney dork, Caitlin. Welcome to this week's edition of Michigan Girl Pop Culture News, where I talk all about the things that I saw in the past week, be it in pop culture, the world of politics, or anything else that happened that I think you guys should know about. First off, I have to say a big, huge apology. I actually thought last night was going to be the new episode of Star Wars Rebels entitled titled Imperial Super Commandos. I saw the preview and I got at the end of last battle and I got so excited because it's dealing with Mandalorians and it's a big Sabine arc, and it was a big thing in the trailer when they revealed that first, Sabine finally has a jetpack, and two, we were going to see the Mandalorians who served the Empire, which, as Ben Rao said, was worse than just plain old stormtroopers or Imperials. Something worse is the Mandalorians who serve the Empire. Not quite sure how that's worse, but I got so excited and I couldn't wait to see it. And so I thought the new episode was going to air last night, and it didn't. Sadly, what I did not know is that the new episode, Imperial Super Commandos, is not set to air till this Saturday, November 5th. So last night's episode was actually a repeat of this season's premiere, Steps into Shadow. So I apologize. I probably got some of you hyped up about the new episode that I thought was going to air last night. And actually, it's supposed to air this Saturday, November 5th. So Imperial Super Commandos will be airing this Saturday. When I checked Wikipedia, which is where I go to get like the schedule and the precise scheduling dates. I know everybody's like, you use Wikipedia. I do. Mainly that's so I know when certain shows are airing what days, because we're getting into the Christmas season and I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday, so you guys will get sick of hearing me talk about it. And I'd like to know if I'm going to have conflict. I mean, okay, Rebels will beat out any Christmas show, even the new ones, but I was checking, and that's when I saw Imperial Super Commandos actually airs this week, and they only have one more episode currently on the schedule on Wikipedia, and that is the episode for November 16th. So I'm not sure if they're going to take the season break early this year, or if they are just taking a really short break, or if they're just taking off for the holidays, because the 16th would be around that time when they stop, would be around Thanksgiving, so they might stop there. I'm not quite sure yet. Also, if you've noticed, my room is set up a little bit differently. Speaking of Christmas, I actually went through and rearranged my room, so that's why this is a little bit different from the past few vlogs. I had to move my bed because I need the space over here for my Christmas tree. Yes, I am that spoiled. I actually have a Christmas tree I put up in my own room, which you guys will see in a few weeks. The reason being, when you see my tree at completion, I have over 20 years worth of ornaments, some of which are actually belong to my great-grandparents. Those ones I can't even hang on my tree. But I have so many ornaments that I can't even put them on the family tree, because we have two trees. There's my tree, and then we have the family tree, which is out in the living room. And that is the tree that my brother and I used to put all our ornaments on. But this will be the third year I've put up my own tree, because almost 3 years ago, we discovered that I have accumulated so many ornaments, either being given to me by family or ornaments that were purchased, and we purchase, it depends. It used to be just one ornament a year. In recent years, we've gone and purchased about almost, I think this year, I purchased like maybe 6 or 7, and my mom got me wrong, so getting multiple ornaments has resulted in the fact that 3 years ago we discovered that if we put all my ornaments on the family tree, there would be no room for my brother's ornaments or for my mom to put up any of her own. So my mom got me my tree that she had bought me years ago and said, okay, here you go. And so I started putting up a tree in my bedroom with my ornaments on it. And the sad part is I'm almost out of room on my tree. So I obviously have to start weeding out some of my ornaments. There are some I will always put on my tree, but there are some. But that's for another episode. Like I said, the tree's not up yet. The tree is not up yet. The tree will be put up the week of Thanksgiving, so do not worry. Not going too crazy, but yes, that is Santa Claus in the background, by the way. That's my new Advent calendar. I love it. But yes, in the coming weeks, you will get sick and tired of hearing me talk about Christmas, and I'm actually going to talk about Christmas later in the vlog. But that being said, let's get on to some news. First off, for all of you who might watch this who are Lutheran like me, Happy Reformation! For those of you who don't know, the Reformation is I guess you could call it our Lutheran holiday. It's basically the day we remember. It's the day that Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses on the door of his church in Wittenberg, Germany, and basically started this whole thing where the Catholic Church was no longer the only Christian church in the world. And because of Martin Luther, that is why we have Lutherans and Baptists and Calvinists and Presbyterians and Methodists and Church of England and a whole bunch of other Christian religions besides Catholicism. So, Happy Reformation. Ironically enough, one of the reasons a lot of Lutherans aren't that big into Halloween is because the actual day of Reformation, the actual day itself, is October 31st. So, for some Lutherans, that's kind of like, it's not the biggest holiday in the Lutheran calendar. The biggest holiday on the Lutheran calendar is actually Christmas. Again, Christmas. So it's very interesting that there's today is Reformation Sunday. That is when most churches mark it with like a special service. My church today, we had a trumpet player with the organist, and also all our hymns were hymns that were written by Martin Luther, who wrote a lot of hymns, including one of the best ones ever written, which is "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God." So I love that hymn. So it's really awesome. And then this Wednesday, we're having a Reformation party. We're going to have KFC and watch a movie and have pretzels and play games and do something called the Reformation Polka. I have no clue what that is. I mean, and this is just this year. Next year is going to be even crazier for Lutherans because it's going to be the 500th anniversary of the Reformation. And I know in Michigan, the Michigan branch of the LCMS, which is what I belong to, we're going to have a big event at the Breslin Center. So I'm really excited. I hope I get to go to that because that would be really cool and awesome to see. So I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm pushing my faith on you. It's just that this vlog is not just about the stuff in pop culture. It's about stuff that's happening in my life. And being Lutheran is a big part of who I am. It's how I was brought up. I was brought up faith, family, country, the three big ones. So I'm loyal to my faith, to my family, to my country. So that's kind of important if you watch this to know about me, because it also plays a part in the stuff I do watch. So I'm happy if you're Lutheran. Happy Reformation. I hope it's awesome. And of course, in a few weeks, it's going to be Advent. So yay, Christmas. And like I said, you guys will be sick of hearing me talk about Christmas. So moving on. Also, it snowed here. Yeah, really quick note. It snowed here. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. And I got yelled at work because I was working when it was snowing and it snowed hard. We actually had like an inch of snow on the ground. I was getting yelled at by my coworkers because I was dancing around going, "Yay, it's snowing, it's snowing, it's snowing." I was so happy. I love snow, okay? It's like, really? You love snow? Yes, I love snow. I absolutely adore snow. And part of it is because I was born during a blizzard. So I absolutely love snow. Winter is not actually my favorite season. It's actually spring and fall are my favorite seasons. But I love snow, okay? I'm a Michigan girl. Snow is just really cool, and I love it. And so I got really excited to see the snow, and then I woke up the next morning, and there was no snow, and I was like, "Aw." So I'm actually under orders right now from one of the girls at work to stop praying for snow. So I told her I would hold off until Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving I would start praying for snow because I want snow from Thanksgiving to February 14th, and my birthday's the 8th. So I want like all that snow. So yeah, and in case you're not from Michigan, and if you're wondering, this is not the earliest we've actually had snow. And it's actually and the latest we've ever had snow is actually April. I remember it snowing a lot. I actually remember hunting for Easter eggs in like 3 feet of snow. And I remember when I was very little and I used to trick-or-treating, and there was again like 3 or 4 feet of snow on the ground. So, if you're wondering, we do get a lot of snow in Michigan. Of course, global warming has changed that a little bit, but snow is kind of a big part. So, yay for snow. Okay. On to what you guys want to know, the latest in pop culture news. Like I said, no new Rebels episode last night, but a new one this week. And again, get really excited about it because it's about Mandalorian. I have a feeling that a lot of Star Wars fans, it's just so interesting. I mean, when they were talking about Clone Wars, when they were doing the Mandalore story arcs in Clone Wars, the guy, Dave Filoni, or one of the guys George came to him and talked about it, and he's like, you want to do something about Mandalore? Hold on. And he pulled out all this research that had been done because so many people had written stories about Mandalore, had written stories about Boba Fett, about all this stuff from one bounty hunter, one character who barely even speaks, who appears in who appears in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and barely speaks in any of those movies, inspired this huge part of the Star Wars universe. And so Mandalore, even for me, Mandalore has kind of become a big thing because, one, I'm a huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fan, and two, Obi-Wan Kenobi was in love with a woman named Satine, who Satine was the Duchess of Mandalore. So I became fascinated with Mandalore because of that, and also that in the Clone Wars, there's like a sharp divide between two different parts of Mandalore. You have the Duchess's side, which is this peaceful, non-warring, no weapons group, and then you have Death Watch, which is let's get back to the roots of Mandalore, our ancestors. Let's get back to raging war and death and destruction and kill the Jedi. So I really like the Mandalore stuff for that because there's two different sides to it. And I definitely feel like Sabine, even though she's being raised by Hera and Kanan, definitely belongs to the second part because she is from Vizsla. So it's interesting. Also, really quick note, I don't know how many of you caught it on the last battle. It kind of slipped my mind the first time I watched it, but at the end of that episode, Star Wars Rebels, the credits, or the title for Star Wars Rebels was actually done in the style they used for Clone Wars, and they used the Clone Wars ending theme for the credits. So that was kind of cool, and it was a nice nod. And as I said, the last battle probably not only brought closure to Rex and Kalani, but probably brought closure to a lot of Clone Wars fans. Because at long last, the Clone Wars, as Rex said, is finally over. Thank you, Ezra. But yeah, that was awesome. So, okay, last Sunday night, Once Upon a Time saw finally, at long last, this was a big deal when it previewed at Comic-Con with the trailer in which we saw Aladdin, Jasmine, and Jafar. Big deal. Oh my gosh, Aladdin and Jasmine in Storybrooke, in Once Upon a Time. Everybody got excited. The first episode aired. We saw him for like 3 minutes, and we didn't see Jasmine. We saw Aladdin, and Aladdin was shaking, and it's like skeleton hand. That was it, and we haven't seen him since, and then Jasmine popped up in the episode, oh shoot, I forgot the name of the episode. The episode about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. She popped up in that playing a teaching assistant, who was then revealed, spoiler if you haven't seen it yet, she was named Shirin, who was actually Jasmine, working with the Oracle to find Aladdin, because apparently Aladdin went poof, bye-bye. So this week's episode, Street Rats, is all about Aladdin and Jasmine. Yes! Finally! So happy. But it turns out Jasmine is looking for Aladdin, and it definitely with Once Upon a Time, they take the classic Disney versions of the fairy tales like Snow White, Cinderella, and they turn them on their heads, and Aladdin was no exception. Basic plot story of Aladdin, Disney version, Aladdin is like the street rat, he's homeless, he has a monkey named Abu, and they basically steal to make a living, and one day he meets the princess, Jasmine, who snuck out to see what life was like beyond the palace walls, and he gets caught by the guards, tossed in jail, where Jafar realizes, oh, he needs this kid to open up the Cave of Wonder so he can get the magic lamp, and that's how he meets the genie, and you know the rest. Not quite. In the world of Once Upon a Time, Jafar is not the one who seeks out Aladdin. It's actually Jasmine, who is looking for the so-called savior. Yeah, not a big spoiler here, still a little spoiler. The savior of Agrabah is Aladdin. He is the so-called diamond in the rough, which Jasmine knew about, but she needed to prove. So, Aladdin's a savior, but as we've been learning, watching Emma so far this season, being the savior does not guarantee you a happily ever after. As Emma has discovered, again, spoiler alert, being the savior means you're actually doomed to die. You don't get a happily ever after. You get to help other people be safe and live their happily ever after, but you don't get one. So, that is one reason why Emma agrees to help Jasmine find Aladdin after, well, again, bigger spoiler alert, the Oracle is dead. But that doesn't mean, things are all bad. But Emma, at long last, confesses to Mary Margaret, to David, to Henry, to Regina, and yes, finally Hook, that she's been having visions, and in her visions, she dies. And Regina puts two and two together and figures out that, ooh, she might be the one who does it. So they all know now, and they all are vowing to make sure that that does not happen. Emma's visions do not come true, which might not work because the evil queen also knows about Emma's visions. Ouch. But there is a way to beat them. Again, this is going to be a major spoiler alert, and I don't like doing this, but this is really important. In this episode, Emma is given a pair of shears. These shears actually cut her free of being the savior, which means the curse of the savior no longer is active on Emma. She can go through life normal without any issue whatsoever. She comes into possession of these shears and makes the choice that she doesn't want to use them. Right now, there are two choices for her. She either dies or uses the shears to cut herself free from her fate. But she believes that there is a third option, a way to live without using the shears. So she hands the shears over to Hook and tells him to destroy them. Well, we all know Hook, so obviously didn't destroy them. So, wonder what that means for their relationship. I hope it works out, because after Emma and Bay, Hook and Emma, yay! Oh my gosh, that rhymed. Okay. Also, through this episode, it was really sweet to see Regina and Henry and how they're interacting with Emma. Regina basically makes a vow that she is not going to let anything, including her, harm Emma. Which, again, proves just how far Regina has come. She's still Regina. She still has a chance to go back to being the evil queen. But it's clear that she has a higher priority, and that higher priority is something she's been working on the past few seasons, which is repairing her relationship with the people around her and building a new family for herself. Which means she now views Emma as like her sister, and of course Henry is the son they share. Weird, but true. So Regina has vowed to make sure that Emma survives, because not only will it make Regina happy, but let's not forget Henry, who also in this episode starts dealing with this incredible amount of guilt, because he is the one who brought Emma to Storybrooke in the first place, thereby setting her on the path of the savior. So it's going to be very interesting going forward to see how all these characters deal with this. Next week's episode is titled Dark Waters and features Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's going to be a Hook-centric episode. Yes! I love him, and I love his name is Killian. I think it's so cool. So it's really awesome. And speaking of Disney, let's go to Disney World. Last week, a few weeks ago, I think I did it last week. I announced the new new Christmas show at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is basically the cool projection multimedia thing called Jingle Bells, Jingle Bam. While they announced a new show for Disney's Magic Kingdom just in time for the start of the holiday season. This new show is actually going to be replacing Celebrate the Magic, but it is the same style of show. It's a projection show on Cinderella Castle, and it's going to be entitled Once Upon a Time. No, it's not going to be based on the TV show. The summary for Once Upon a Time from the Disney parks states that Once Upon a Time, a projection show on Cinderella Castle, will actually feature the beloved character Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast telling stories to her child Jip. These stories are going to be about Disney characters, and their adventures will be projected onto the castle as Mrs. Potts tells them. It sounds like it's a really fun show. The last night for Celebrate the Magic will be November 2nd, and Once Upon a Time, the projection show, will actually kick off on November 4th. So definitely go check it out if you're hanging down there. I can't wait for it to be posted on YouTube. I'm so excited to see it, as well as excited to see Jingle Bells, Jingle Bam. So yeah, that's awesome. Let's go on to Pokemon. The big news, finally at long last, the final evolution stages of the 3 starters have been revealed. And my brother's reaction was they all look stupid. I don't think so. I think they look kind of cool, and it is kind of solidifying in my choice what one I'm going to get. There we go. I actually worked it out great this time. So here we go. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them too well. These are the final evolutions of the 3 starters. We have, I think it's pronounced Dedusai, which is the grass Pokemon. Its final evolution is grass and ghost type. We have Incineroar, that cute little kitty that made the biggest change, and it is fire and dark. And then this one is my favorite. It is the water type, and it is called Primarina, I think is how you pronounce it, and it is water and fairy. So there you go, the final evolutions of the starter Pokemon. My brother's kind of bummed, and he really wishes Primarina, the water one, was actually water and psychic, because then you would have grass, fire, water, ghost, dark, psychic. I think psychic would be pretty cool too. I was actually thinking ice, but I don't mind fairy. I actually like fairy type Pokemon, so. But there you go, the final evolutionary stages. And actually, my brother, who was freaking out over the cat when he first saw it, actually thinks he looks the dumbest. His choice is he's actually leaning towards the owl. I am actually leaning towards, of course, Primera, but I'm still thinking about it. I do a lot of I actually go through and I chart stuff, like which Pokemon I'll need depending on HMs and TMs within the game, which ones I'm required to use during it. So that will play a big decision. Well, it won't play a big decision in my starter, but it does play a big decision in the final 5 Pokemon I get. So that will be awesome. And if you haven't, you still have time to go check out the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo through Nintendo. It's really fun. It's actually nice and easy, really quick, and you get that really cool Ash Greninja, which you can then transfer to your Pokemon Sun and Moon game. Don't forget, we are just mere weeks away from the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Nintendo has announced that even with just pre-orders, Pokemon Sun and Moon is already one of its top-selling games. People are excited about this, and I'm excited too. I cannot wait to get it. I am starting to, the latest trailer, they did drop a hint that this is going to be vastly different from the other games, in that it does not look like there is an actual gym challenge. In the trailer, it dropped this thing that says, "Witness the birth of the Aloha Pokemon League," which makes me think there isn't actually a gym challenge yet, because there isn't actually a Pokemon League on the islands. It'll make it a little different from Pokemon games, but that makes me excited. It also makes me think that for Pokemon Sun and Moon, they might do a sequel. Okay? That would be really interesting, because they haven't really done a lot of actual type sequels within the games. The closest one, I think, was Pokemon Black and White, and then Black and White 2, and I'm not sure if Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, no, they weren't sequels, they were remakes. So there's been a few sequels within the games, but it's really exciting that if they could do one for this one, because it would just be interesting. Also, you get to battle, after I think you beat the game, some really cool characters from games past, including Red and Blue from the original games. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, this isn't the first time you've been able to battle Red and Blue in past games where you went back to, I think it's the Kanto or Johto. I remember the original region of the games. Blue actually became the gym leader of Viridian. And in other games, you were actually able to go up to this mountain after you beat the champion, and you could take on Red, whose Pokemon were all like level 100, and you were basically screwed. But again, this is so exciting, because you get to battle Red and Blue, not as a gym leader, but just trainers, and it's going to be really exciting. And it actually looks like you can battle with them, or against one of them, or against both of them. So I'm really excited about this new feature, battling famous trainers from the past. Not just Red and Blue, it looks like you can battle old gym leaders, old Pokemon champions. It's going to be awesome. The more I see about this game, the more I get hyped, because it's going to be totally different. And I think even with them taking out a lot of the more traditional Pokemon aspects, like the gym challenge and stuff, I think it's going to be a challenging game to play for Pokemon fans. So I am super excited. Yay, Pokemon! Also, I finally saw the first episode of RWBY Volume 4. You're like, what took you so long? Well, for one thing, I don't pay to watch it on their website. I actually watch it on YouTube, where it gets posted for free a week after it airs. So yeah, I've been waiting a while, but I'm so happy. The first episode of RWBY Volume 4 chapter 1 was titled The Next Step. Oh my gosh! RWBY's way different. Okay, the ending of volume 3, that was dark, and traumatic. And the first episode, it definitely is setting up that RWBY is going to be this volume of RWBY is going to be a little bit more darker and a little bit more intense. I mean, let's not forget, our characters are basically scattered. Yang is at home with her and RWBY's dad. Weiss is with her family. Blake is who knows where. And RWBY is with the remaining members of Team Juniper, Ren, Nora, and Jean. Sorry, my phone. And they are currently on their way to, I think it's Mistral. So the members of Team RWBY are split up. And I'm sorry, my mom is texting me. So they're split up, and basically they're trying to find their ways. I'll let her know later. So it's really interesting. It was a very cool episode. It was definitely, the reason I think it's definitely going to be darker and more tense is they did not kick it off with our heroes. They kicked it off with the villains, introducing the villains for the season, which includes Cinder and that really creepy, veiny lady they introduced at the end of last season, and 3 others, which I don't remember, except for the one dude who laughed like a freaking hyena, and I saw him and I went, oh, he's insane. There's someone new to give me nightmares. And then we get to see RWBY and the other characters, and it's so awesome because RWBY, they've definitely changed, they matured. Jean is still a little bit the same, but he definitely has more of a quiet, serious nature about him now. He definitely doesn't want to be just the strategist, just the goofball. I think as the season goes on, we are going to see him step up more and become that warrior that Pyrrha knew he could be. So it's definitely going to be really interesting, especially with what happened last season. Spoiler if you didn't see it with Priya's death. I think that's going to have a big impact. What happened when Beacon was destroyed, I think that definitely will have a lasting impact. I know it will. And it will definitely mean a lot for our characters moving forward, seeing how it affects them. Especially like Yang, who lost her arm, and then Jean, who saw Pyrrha, who Pyrrha died, and RWBY, who witnessed the death, and then has discovered that she since has apparently these really great powers. So, if you haven't checked it out, definitely go check out RWBY. It's a really cool show. I'm absolutely in love with it, and I can't wait to see more. Like I said, if you can't afford to pay, don't worry. Rooster Teeth does load the episodes up on YouTube a week after they air for free, so you can watch it there. So that's why my reviews for RWBY are going to be a week late. So next week will actually be episode 2. But yeah, and we're going to go back to Christmas really quickly. Why? Because Hallmark Channel last night kicked off its countdown to Christmas. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hallmark Channel is no longer content to wait till after Thanksgiving to kick things off for the Christmas season. Last night, they aired the first new Christmas movie of 2016, and it was a cute one. I think it was titled A Wish for Christmas, and it starred Lucy Chabert as this really kind of meek, shy office worker who makes a wish for Christmas that she can be more outgoing, more bold, and it just gets her, and she helps her boss rediscover Christmas, and it was so romantic. I love it. It was awesome. I'm really excited that the Christmas season has started in Hallmark. I love the Hallmark episodes, Christmas movies. That is why it is very hard for me. Rebels does trump Christmas, so definitely it'll be interesting to watch because most of their new movies currently air on Saturdays at 8 o'clock or Sundays at 8 o'clock. So I might actually start watching those instead of Once Upon a Time, sadly. I can always watch Once Upon a Time later, so. As for Supergirl, I would be talking about Supergirl, except I did not get to see Supergirl Monday. And I will not be seeing Supergirl again not tomorrow night because I have to work closing. I work closing 3 days this week. My only 3 days I work, and I work closing every single day. And I will not get to see Supergirl again next Monday because, again, I close. I love my boss right now, so yeah, so hopefully eventually I will be getting caught up on Supergirl to know what I missed. So far it's sounding like it's going to be, again, I started out saying it's going to be a really interesting season, and from what I'm reading, it is an interesting season. I did see Criminal Minds last week. I did catch it, and my heart is just breaking for Reed. I feel like if Criminal Minds goes on for another season, I really feel like Reed will not be back with the show because of what's going on with his mom. In case you guys didn't know, last season, Reed discovered that his mom is in the early stages of Alzheimer's, dementia, and he's freaking out because his mom is also schizophrenic, and she had been doing so well on her medication, and then this happened. So Reed has just been through, he just keeps getting run over by life, and I really feel like at this point they've got to, he's going to have a breaking point. I mean, I thought he reached his breaking point in the earlier seasons when he got addicted to a drug, but I don't know. All this stuff is happening in the past 3 seasons. His girlfriend got shot in front of him. His mom has Alzheimer's, and he went through a phase where he was freaking out that he was going to have a psychotic break. And so I just feel like maybe Reed might be the next one to leave, so. It really was funny seeing Garcia and Alves, though, last week. It was absolutely hysterical. I'm really rooting for those two, actually. I'm really hoping that Garcia and Alves actually get together. Does that make me bad? So, yeah, Criminal Minds so far is going good, even without Hotch, which is really weird. I thought it wouldn't be too bad, but actually with Hotch Garn, I kind of like the dynamic of the show a little bit more. I mean, Hotch was a cool character, but I feel like for the earlier seasons where he was, it was kind of like he was holding back, and there really wasn't that much of a big family dynamic between everybody. I mean, there was one, but Hotch was always so serious about the job and stuff. And then now he's gone, and then the past 3 seasons have gotten a little more open and clearer. And now with him gone, I feel like there's definitely more of an openness between the characters. I mean, I definitely don't think, in last week's episode when Reed gets the call that his mom wandered off and was totally lost and confused, and they found her on a casino floor, Rossi and everybody was like pushing him out the door to go to Las Vegas and take as much time off as he needed to go help his mom. And I don't think that's something that would have happened if Hotch was still on the show. I mean, Hotch would have gone, go stay with your mom, but I don't think he would have been pushing Reed out the door. So, I don't know. I actually am kind of liking it with Hotch gone, so. I wish Morgan would come back, though. I really miss Morgan, so. But that is all the news for today. I will be back next Sunday with another edition of Michigan Girl Pop Culture News. Don't forget, it's time to vote. Next week is the election, November 8th. So make sure you get out there and cast your vote. We need to vote. I had a high school teacher tell me if you don't vote, you can't complain. So get out there and cast your vote. And I hope our next president, she does amazing. I feel so bad about saying that. Anyway, go ahead next week, cast your vote, and hopefully America will still be standing after that. So don't forget, November 8th, go cast your vote and make sure it's presidential, so go ahead and do it. Again, I will be back next week with another edition of Michigan Girl Pop Culture News with all about tonight's episode of Dark Water. I think it's Dark Waters or Dark Seas. I forgot already. Dark Water, for Once Upon a Time. Rebels, Imperial Super Commandos. And anything else that happened in pop culture, political, or world news I think you guys should know about with my own little twist. So, once again, I am Caitlin, your favorite Michigan girl, wannabe Jedi, all-around pop culture geek, and resident Disney nerd or freak, however you want to say it. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe, have fun, and if you're going out trick-or-treating, make sure you get a lot of candy. Once again, I'll see you guys next Sunday, and as always, may the Force be with you.